So the area we're going to talk about today needs the biggest disclaimer in comparison to the other two areas we've already covered in previous webinars. Now, the reason for this is that there is a lot of material out there for conference interpreting with very established schools of note-taking and researchers going back nearly as far as the Nuremberg trials on small scales and then becoming more and more developed. People like Matisek, like Gillies. It was actually one of those schools was mentioned in one of the questions at the business seminar talking about subject, verb, object. So I am not going to reinvent the wheel, and I am not actually going to refer to those particular schools of note-taking. I am simply going to use what we used in the introductory seminar and apply it to conference interpreter training, because it's a very good way of getting started. Now, what you should then of course do is get an overview of the different schools after the training. On the reading list you have a breakdown of all of them, and pick out the bits that suit you. The reason I've put this disclaimer in is because basically I teach at different institutions, and sometimes I join halfway through a course, for example. And I had one session at Munich University where the students had simply been given, each one of them had been given a book, and they studied it and they learnt from the particular book. And there were different schools of conference interpreter note-taking that they used. And then they stuck to that particular school rigidly, even though they were supposed to apply what their colleagues were presenting to them from their reading. And it didn't work very well. So it was then changed, and we then adapted it to fit each individual student for one thing, but mixing and merging all the different schools of note-taking. So there will be a lot of aspects that, if any of you already are already dealing with the various schools of note-taking, will know about. But they are all pulled together in a sort of very logical way. At least I think it's logical. I hope you will find it logical.